What's up, Tifos? It is Decoding the Pressure time. We got a big home match. Charlotte FC back in action. Finally, after a long post-Leagues Cup break, got grouped by Philly and Cruz Azul, and that means we've had a lot of time off, but we're finally back in action on Saturday at Bank of America Stadium. Dean Smith talked about it today, so we're going to listen and we're going to react. Let's go. It's time. Who's excited? Who's excited? Are you excited? Because I'm excited. I know Captain Westwood is excited. Look at him. He's so excited. Thank you, Defend the Queen, as always, for that lovely artwork. I need more, to be honest. I need to get some more. But
yep, going really well. Everybody's fully fit. We've got good numbers out on the training ground at the moment, which is really good.
Fully fit.
People
Sounds really
itching
good.
to get back. People playing to get into the team. People playing to stay in the team. So, yeah, the training sessions have been really good, and just bringing in some new players as well always lifts the tempo of the training sessions and the quality. So, yeah, it's been good.
We like that.
It's fine.
Nathan's toe, he's fine, yeah. He's back in and trained all week with us so far.
In terms of from a housekeeping aspect, I know Pep probably won't feature this weekend. How soon do you expect him? And as far as Idan and Jamie, when do you feel like those guys might be able to feature?
So Pep, I'm hopeful that he'll be ready for Atlanta next week. Idan will play on Sunday for the Legacy, so we can get some minutes into his legs. I think they play Red Bull away. And Jamie, I think, will be ready for the game after the international window, which is Montreal away. Yeah, so he'll miss the first two, but he'll be ready for that. And him out the three will probably need the extra training time, because his league shut down end of May, I think mid-May. So, but he's looked okay on the training ground, which is good.
He hasn't been working out since the season ended. What happened, JMO? Nice to hear some updates on the new players. Obviously, that is first and foremost after the transfer window is closed. And Pep BL would have loved to have him for this match. If we get him for Atlanta, I think it's a good thing. I was at training earlier this week, and Pep looked pretty peppy. I got to say, I like the idea of Pep so far. I'm not going to fall head over heels because, as I've said, I've done that before. And I need to see it before I believe it now. I'm a savvier fan. I'm not going to fall for the same traps over and over and over again, Dino and Zoran. But I do want to believe in Pep, so I'm going to hope that things work out well. Would have loved to see Jamie Patterson come in and be ready to go from day one, but I guess he's going to need some time to get up to speed. That's fine, I guess. Not like he projected as a starter anyway, but he's a nice depth piece. And Toklamati. Head on out to Matthews and see him on Sunday. Let's go.
He's talked about you as being kind of a father figure to him in terms of his time at Walsall and your time as kind of your first experience as a head coach. What's it mean to bring a player like that back?
Yeah, I know. He's somebody who I've spoke to throughout his career. Helped him as a 16-year-old lad. He got his first professional contract, and it's nice to see somebody who you've played a small part in, give him a pathway, and have the career that he's had. But he came over to watch the game against Miami, and was really impressed with what he saw. He liked it, and I think he's turned down a number of offers from championship teams in the EFL to come here and have something different. And I'm really pleased because he's got a really good football brain. He's one of them players who, in this room, the learning zone, he'll speak up because he's got an opinion. And I like players who've got an opinion and will air views and ask questions. And I always felt we would work again together. So it's nice to have him here.
How important?
Gotta love it. We know Dino loves to send players on the pathway and give them their debuts. So maybe Ninfa will be playing for him at some club.
Yeah, really
30 years
important.
down the line.
But I think you've got to include Patrick, Brandon, and Tavares in that as well. There's three players who've been knocking on the door. Over the last few weeks, Tavares has come in when players have been out, and he scored against Cincy, I think it was, and then he scored a goal against Austin. So he's in a rich vein of form.
I was there.
I've said right from the start that I want competition for places, and I think we've got that now.
terms
That is kind of my reservation with bringing Jamie Patterson in. Not that he can't help, but just
table,
knowing that
training,
Tavares is
I
kind of
mean,
already filling that role,
you
it
kind of
didn't
know
seem
what
like a
you're
position of
looking
need
at from that
necessarily. But hey,
perspective. Does that make it easier off of
competition
the
for
layoff
places.
to kind of play a team like
I
this?
love to hear
Or
Dino mention
you know
Brandon
what
there
you're
also.
going
That's good to
going
hear.
in?
I suppose so. In terms of the way they play, they're not going to change too much in terms of the way they play. But I've always said that 85% of what we do is about us rather than the opposition. We'll tweak a few
88.5?
things in terms of our build up
Why not
or
89.3?
how we're going to create
Why not
at times,
87.7?
but it's only tweaks rather than anything. You know, and sometimes without the ball, how we would go and press might be another tweak because of the opposition you're playing, but 85% of it is about us.
I know Tim took some time off after.
Oh, 80 or 85. I think he said 88.5. I thought that was weird. Sorry, that's my fault.
From the start.
Yeah, Tim's back to full fitness. He's
I'll own up to
going
that
to put competition up to Addy and Pribs, which is important as well.
Man, I think Reams starts. I think Reams ends up starting against Red Bull. So I didn't think that at first, but I kind of think that now.
No, he knew Messi weren't playing. It was the Copa, but he wanted to come over. So, I've always kept in touch with him, and there was an invitation there.
Great question
I think
from
my
Carol.
wife's more excited than of Jamie coming because she's loved him as a kid when he was working under me I was under 18 coach at the time at Walsall, and then became the first team coach as well, and ended up selling him for £1 million, I think it was, to Nottingham Forest. So, yeah, I had 4 or 5 really good years with him.
Love
Do you
it.
see him as a different player now that he's 32, or is he,
I hope he is. I hope he's learned a lot more.
The laughing gaffer
But yeah,
strikes again.
he's-
Love you,
He's a
Dino.
player that can score goals, that can create goals. He understands the game. A very intelligent footballer. So, yeah, he's improved. He's matured an awful lot. So he got a warning letter off me at 16 years old, and he's improved from there.
you guys had a friendly on Saturday?
Double-digit goals for Swansea last year.
We had independence in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Zoran said, and to the Mid-City guys, that Liel and Carol kind of showed some dynamic play between the two of them. Did you?
Yeah, there's some really good interplay between a few of the players. Kerwin included, Tavares, Bronico, Ben Bender scored a goal as well. So yeah, there's some really good interplay. And starting to get some really good understandings between players who haven't been here as long as other players.
So Dean's here talking about, if you missed the question because I was talking over, that kind of happens sometimes. But Dean's talking about the closed door friendly they had against the Charlotte Independents this past weekend. And I got to say, since my esteemed co-host Johnny Hayes is not here on this episode, I got to just go on the rant on behalf of the show. Why is that closed door? Why is a Charlotte derby not open to the public, even if it's just a friendly? Bring the teams in, even if it's just a training exercise and there's not normal rules and you're subbing guys in and out all over the place just to get minutes. He's going to talk more about it in a second here. I think Carol's got a follow-up, but we should have all been allowed to go watch that game to celebrate soccer in the city. Really disappointing, especially to know that Bender's out there scoring goals. Who wouldn't have wanted to see that? So they should be playing every year in a Charlotte Shield match preseason, a Community Shield style exhibition. That's John's brainchild, and we hope that it will happen someday. But anytime Charlotte Independence and Charlotte FC are sharing a pitch together, don't do that behind closed doors. Give us a chance to go see. Sell some tickets, make some money, sell some Hop Fly beer, and we'd love to be there.
Watching Pep in practice now, what do you notice about him?
Yeah, he's certainly got quality. He's got really good balance. He's got good
balance.
His first look is always forward.
He's not going to fall down,
which is really good. And yeah, he is what I expected him to be. He's a good player.
And then finally, with these new pieces, do you expect to tweak your style of play a little bit up front, or do you will it change your strategy?
No, not really. I mean, we're always looking to work patterns to beat teams. If they're a high line, we'll look to play behind that high line. If they drop low, then we've got to draw them out, so open spaces up to go and create chances. So, that thing is going to just continue to work, and a style of play should be one that's continually evolving as well.
It's about what we do, not what they do. Let's go.
You mentioned that Jamie had offers from championship teams, but he signed with Charlotte for the rest of the season and an option for next year. Correct. So I guess my question would be, feels like there's not much.
Question about Patterson coming in here
to
again.
him and from his side to agree also on this.
If you can't hear it.
What were the conversations like to have him agree to just be here for the rest of the season?
The conversations were, come over and show me what you're about again. You can come over and see if it's for you as well. So it was a two-way street. Obviously, he wanted to come over because it's me, and I wanted him to come over because it's him. So it was a simple conversation. We both want to have a look at it, and I'm really hopeful that it will work.
Is there some hesitation?
Proof that even in football and soccer, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
No, not really. We've got a push now for 9 games to get into the playoffs, and that's our role at the moment, and then go as far as we can in the playoffs. And I wanted some quality players in, and it gives optionality to both sides once we get to the end of that season.
Okay, so then I would follow up with him.
Let's hope he makes an impact, Jamie Patterson. Would you rather have Jamie Patterson make a big impact or Pep Biel making a big impact? That was the question I should have been there to ask for sure.
Would you-
Options for,
Not
What
that
do
we
you
would
mean
have got a
parameters?
straight answer.
like, is there a certain goal? Is there assist? What are you looking from them as players that may convince you to exercise those options?
Number one, how they settle in, how they adapt to the culture and the environment, the standards they bring to training, to this room when we're reviewing or when we're looking at the opposition and looking at our style of play, but then also the quality of what they bring onto the pitch as well. Doesn't necessarily have to be assists and goals, but the quality of their play are going to be the things that tell us about them. Cheers, thank you.
Dean, you talked about the 3-week break and the guys didn't let up in training. You were very pleased with what you saw. The additions of the new players that you kind of talked about today. Have you noticed that the, I guess, overall dynamic of the team has maybe elevated with the new faces and ramped up the training competitions, those in-practice moments, and as I asked you last week, have you needed the Advil because you have decisions to make about your starting 11 and who you dress on game day?
Yeah, no, the training's definitely gone up a notch. You can feel that. You can also feel that they're getting into game mode and getting ready, and there's that anxiety amongst them, who's playing, who's not. I'll name the team to them tomorrow morning, and they can put their minds at rest and get ready, for that game against New York Red Bull, which is going to be a big game for us.
Somebody ask him Ream or Privet, please.
When you look at the final 9 in the regular season, 9 games you've got left, and you just mentioned things going up a notch. What is is there an inner excitement from you about the position this team is in now to make a push, get top 4, get as high as you can on the table? I mean, is there anything going on, inside you about, wow, we might be in good shape here?
There's a saying in the UK that we're getting to the time that becomes squeaky bum time. And it's a time that I really enjoy because, it's the time where...
Because I love
good
squeaky
teams go on
bums.
Good runs. And when good teams go on good runs, they win things. You look at the top teams in, like Man City, for instance, this is the time they go on runs. And, I feel that we've added the quality to our squad. And, whenever bums go squeaky, ours won't.
Does that mean they're moving their seats?
Just use that terminology before.
Means they have tight asses, Carol.
Thank you.
I mean, I got squeaky bum time. I can't explain.
Bridget, you go ahead. We'll go to Kelly then.
In the last 3 weeks, we got to see George Marks play for the Legacy a couple times. We haven't heard you talk about him a lot. What do you have to say about George?
Yeah, he's had not as much game time as he would certainly like, especially with the first team. Callie's done ever so well. Last game, Dave Bingham came in and done really well as well, so it's been frustrating for him. But he's got some game time with the Legacy and done really well when he's played with the Legacy. And the one thing I can say about him, his attitude and application in training have been top notch. A great lad who's frustrated because he wants more minutes. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to give him them minutes. But it hasn't stopped him working hard.
We love Georgie.
Kelly.
His long-term future may not be with Charlotte, but it's always been great having him here for sure.
It was a tough loss. It was at Notorious.
Never know what happened next year. Do you want to see George take over?
This time around to get a positive result?
Leave a comment below.
If we take 5 minutes out of that game, we would have had a positive result. We had a 5-minute spell where we lost our way and conceded 3 uncharacteristic goals for us. I thought we controlled large periods of that game, and because we're playing them, we've obviously been looking back at some of the video of that game, and we've done a lot of things really well. Missed some really big chances as well at 0-0. So
that was a tough one.
we know
talking
what's
about the
to come
previous
from
game
them.
against Red
They'll
Bulls.
know what's to come from us, and we've got to make
The
sure
long lightning
that
delay as well.
for 90 odd minutes that we're fully concentrated.
That's it for me. Appreciate it.
No worries, thank you.
God, I hate the Red
Jorge
Bulls.
asked about Patterson and Beal. I mean, are they necessarily competing for the same spot, or could you see both of them coming back if they both?
They could both play in the same team, that's for sure. Looking how they've already linked up in training so far, so that's the competition that we wanted. I've got to judge on fitness levels of both of them as well as the time pans out. But obviously Jamie won't be available for a few weeks anyway. But Pep has been doing a pre-season with Olympiacos, so he's in a good period of his fitness, so I don't think it won't take him too long to want to play games.
Get Pep that damn visa. We need him against Atlanta.
Urso was on the bench, I believe, against Cruz Azul, and he's fit to play. Yeah, he played an hour against Independence as well last week.
Interesting.
You mentioned that
Junior Urso wrecking the Independence. That would have been fun to see.
A little bit of juice.
Wish we could have got in.
What does it mean, and how do you notice the existing players kind of react, step their game up, knowing that there's an infusion of new players?
I think it sparks people when you've got fresh bodies coming in. There's a newness to it, plus the fact that there's also a fear is it my position that maybe somebody's coming to take? But I'm fairly straight and consistent with players. It's you show you're better than them, then you stay in the team, and that's what I want. There's got to be a competitive edge every time you go out to train. And I feel that we've got that now, and I think it lifts everybody as well.
Does this mean maybe you reserve some different guys who might have featured for you for Crown Legacy time, just to kind of make sure that everybody's fresh? Like how much does that, with you and Kevin, kind of increase that dialogue?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we've got 4 or 5 players that will go on Sunday and play Red Bull. Because we're carrying a big squad now, so these players will have to go and get some minutes, and the minutes will come from the legacy games.
Okay, I got Nick Finelli on the Zoom. Nick,
Good news for the legacy. More first teamers down there playing.
Hey, Coach, can you provide some
Get to Matthews on Sunday, y'all.
what specific things you do to kind of welcome and include new people, new places to when you're...
Well, how do you roll out the red carpet, Dino?
There's probably nothing specific. Take me as you do. They'll come in and I'll offer them a cup of tea. Not many of them will drink tea. Pep came with his madre and padre yesterday.
I saw
and it
them.
was very nice to see them, and I think it's important that get to know the families of the people, and they can see that they're handing their son or a family member to a good place. And as I said, the important thing for me is the culture and the environment that we've set here, and that people can come and feel welcomed into it. So Idan obviously knows Liel already, so he's got some comfort there. Jamie will probably go over to Westy and Nathan, and as the Brits, and kind of ask where the best places are to live and where to eat and stuff like that. And and Pep as well. We've
Best place to drink.
people, but his English is
Jamie?
really good. So we welcome them all and help them settle in.
And then what is your expectation
I met the BO family, actually. I didn't really meet them. I saw them walking around training yesterday. It was great.
as far as how they
2 days ago.
from each other's play?
Well, timeline is they haven't got much time because for Pep it's 8 games plus playoffs. It's Jamie Patterson, it's 7 games plus playoffs. So they haven't got time. They've got to hit the ground running, and they know that. And the qualities that they bring, I know they can do that.
Interesting to hear Dean say 8 games there, because it kind of gives the game away that he believes Pep will be ready for Atlanta, which is
matches against teams you have played for the second time. That's actually the best in your career and best in Charlotte FC. So what do you attribute that success to, being able to play a team for the second time?
Dean's like, where's this question going?
I don't know.
Ask a long question, get a short answer. That's the way it goes with Dean.
I think
sometimes.
knowledge of the opposition, that you've already played them once. I mean, as you know, for me, this league at the start for me was new. Coming up against different players who I hadn't faced before, different coaches, different teams. So, learning about, what to expect, what not to expect, strengths and weaknesses of different teams and how to go and exploit them. I had a really good record against Everton. I don't think I got beat by Everton.
Oh, yes.
Well, you may have had
Everton's a mess.
maybe some others not so much. So.
Okay.
I love it, Dean. Absolutely.
Thanks, Nick.
Maybe he should have been coaching Liverpool if he's never loses to Everton.
It's just outstanding, the difference, that's all.
Okay, no worries.
Thanks.
Thank you, mate. No worries.
Thanks, Nick. Go ahead, Tim.
So I want to build off of Nick's question, Coach. How are you adjusting to Charlotte? You've been here a while now. Knock on wood. The next 9 games are good enough that we'll still have you next year.
He didn't come here to get fired.
How's the adjustment going? What are you finding that you like about Charlotte?
The adjustment's gone really well. I mean, Jamie Patterson's looking at me the last 2 days and I'm wearing like a long sleeve top for training. He said, you must have adjusted well. So yeah, I enjoy the
JMO's got
place, I
jokes.
enjoy
I
the
love it.
weather. My family enjoy it. I'm seeing more of my son going to watch his games. But the whole atmosphere that's created by this football club is amazing. I'm walking around and people are saying thank you about the team and the excitement about the team and the atmosphere here as well. So it's, as I've said many times, it's a club that's only 2.5 years old in terms of playing. So it's been doing a lot of growing, and with my experience, I can help in certain areas with my input on standards that we should have, and some processes that we can put in place as well. So it's nice to kind of play a part in a club that's growing.
And is there anything
We love you,
else
Dino.
about the UK?
I'm certainly not missing. I'm just watching the cricket, but it's just been rained off again. So I'm not missing the weather. Listen, family.
It's about to
My
cool off
mum
in
came
Carolina,
over for
finally.
a couple of weeks during the League's Cup. She came to the Philadelphia game, which hurt her eyes, and but then she saw the Cruisers all
Mine too.
game, and she's really enjoyed it, and can't wait to come back. But 2 weeks was enough.
And then finally,
It's like when you've lived away from home for a while. You love your mum and you love having her, but there's a certain time when it's like, yeah, come on now.
Got just enough of mom. I love it. Great to welcome your mom and great to see her go.
She knows.
my final one for you is, it's been a while since we've talked, and there has been a lot of roster movement. Do you think the team is done, or are there any more rabbits in the hat?
In terms of bringing people in, no. There won't be any more players that are coming in through the door. The window's shut anyway, isn't it? I think you can trade players, I suppose, is the only other way. But
get free
no, I'm
agents.
happy with the squad that we've got going into, a run for the playoffs and then hopefully through the playoffs.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Just, do you expect everybody else to have gotten a little better, your opponents from here out?
No idea.
Okay.
I've never worried about the opposition. I'm not in control of that, so I always just worry about ourselves. We're what we can control, so I think it's always important of just concentrating on that. We don't know what happens at other clubs, so I never try and speculate.
I never worry about the opponents, but I've never lost to Everton. Dino's always funny that way. He says the right things when he's asked directly, but then sometimes he'll give away that he does think about that stuff a little more than he might let on at times. Not a lot of Red Bull talk there. I would have loved Dean to come out and say, fuck New York Red Bulls, New Jersey Red Bulls. That would have been music to my ears. but I just said it, so at least you heard it while you're watching the show. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I can't wait to get to Hot Fly pregame. I can't wait to get to the stadium. After 3.5 weeks, it's been a long time coming to get this playoff run, this run out to the playoffs started. I think Charlotte FC can pretty much expect to be in the playoffs. Falling out of the playoffs at this point would be insane flop. The schedule looks real nice. I don't think top 4 is out of the question. I think I predicted with Johnny on a recent episode of Charlotte Soccer Show that we would finish 5th. I'm going to stand by that. But if we are going to beat that, if we are going to finish in that top 4 and host a playoff series, it's going to start with beating New York Red Bulls on Saturday. So I hope to see you all there. If you want to come grab some beers at Hot Fly, come see me. If you want to come find me in the supporter section and say, hey, maybe I'll buy you a beer. You never know. I'm a pretty generous guy. And what can I say? Everybody is ready to get this thing going. So let's get it going. And as always, thanks everybody for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment. Tell me you like this content. Tell me you hate this content. Tell me to shut up during the questions. Tell me to get a new jersey because this one's kind of dying on the vine here. But thanks everybody for watching. It's for the crown, baby.